Kill him.
My turn.
How you doing, guys? Got a battle up here from Pokekage from the Marriland forums. He tracked me down in Serebii and challenged me to a UU battle, which isn't really my territory, so I just picked 6 pokes that are pretty much the only 6 pokes I had, and just dove straight in. So I started with my Medichan, which you're all pretty familiar with, and he brings in Moltres and switches to Steelix, which is bad for me because I've kept the scarf on him for some reason. So he sets up rocks. I bring out my Empoleon, which is pretty much all I could do. And I think he must have been predicting Surf, so I decided to set up my Stealth Rocks on my own. And he brings out his Venusaur, and my god, I could not deal with this Venusaur. Like, this team was just almost completely walled. I mean, there was just too much special defense for the moves like Ice Beam and all that. And I just ran out of options in the end. So I used Protect just to scout out what I was going to do, and I tried to roar it away because I knew there wasn't much I could do, but that didn't work, and he got a seed up, so I thought I'd Ice Beam him again, get some damage in. And yeah, pretty much the whole objective was just to keep Empoleon alive, because it was just the only thing that could really deal with it without, getting raped. And I brought in Espeon, and he gets a Giga Drain off, which wasn't too bad, but I predicted him going back to the Steelix, and it was just the worst idea ever. So I really regret doing that. And he got a bit of Poison Hacks, which sort of, I don't know, it meant I couldn't get the switch. I couldn't get a switch in later. So that was pretty much goodbye Espeon. So I went back to Empoleon just to keep Espeon as death fodder, and I was just trying to keep my team up. So I used Roar that time, and he brings in Dusclops, and I completely forgot about Dusclops. I forgot that you had like the pre-evolutions in like previous tiers. Like, this just isn't my territory at all. I have no idea like how this all works. So I bring in Espeon just to see what he was going to do, and it turns out he will-o-wisp, so that was nice. I dodged that. So I bring in my my Nut Puncher, my Azumarill, and I decided to set up a sub, but again, his Venusaur just completely walls me. It's a sub puncher, and it's got Focus Punch and Waterfall, which are both resisted by Venusaur. So, and I actually didn't know this. I didn't know that Giga Drain, you got health back from Giga Drain off the sub. That really pissed me off because I thought I could at least wear him down like with the sub up, and that just didn't happen for me. So I had to switch out again, which was a pain, and I brought out my Ice Baby. It's just so many good times with this Regice. This is like back from the day when I refused to use Blissey, and I still do, but now I just don't use walls at all anymore. But he was talking about it before the battle, and I thought, well, I might as well just bring it along just for kicks. So he gets the seed off, and it's pretty bad from here on out. With the Regice, there wasn't a whole lot I could do. I thought he'd be able to stall me out, so I predicted the Protect, and I went to my Medicham again, and he got another Protect, and he sees the Ice Punch coming, which means he can switch out. But there wasn't a whole lot I could do anyway. I knew he was going to go to Steelix, but all I could do was really just hope that I could do enough damage, and it did jack shit. So I was pretty pissed off then, and I was pissed off that like I had the Scarf, but it had absolutely no bearing in the unused environment. Like, there's just nothing that's really that fast apart from other Scarf pokes. But I saw the Toxic coming anyway, or a Protect, so I went to Nidoking. And I used the Ice Beam because even though it's neutral and it doesn't have stab, I thought it might do more just because its special defense is so low. It turns out I didn't do that much at all, and I ate an Earthquake, and that pretty much spelled the end for my Nidoking. Which is a shame. He usually does me so proud, and kind of got screwed this time. So I brought Medicham back in, and I forgot about this. I forgot that you keep going and you crash when you use High Jump Kick. and that was a pain, but you know, what can you do? I pretty much had to go for it anyway. Like there wasn't anything else I can do. And the other main problem was that my Empoleon actually doesn't have Surf, and he was like shitting bricks after the battle, going, "What? How can it not have Surf?" And I'm like, well, the whole point was to use it in Overused as a Swampert counter. So I gave it Grass Knot and then Ice Beam for dragons, like, you know, to resist Draco Meteor and stuff. So, you know, I thought it was a good idea at the time, but in Underused it just doesn't work. So I brought my Azumarill back in just to try and finish it off with Waterfall. I knew I could take the Earthquake, and I thought if he protects, it's even better. So I used Waterfall, take it out, and it's just. But the thing is, that's still just one down. The problem wasn't Steelix. The problem was Venusaur, and it is just the bane of my existence for the entire, like, I don't know, this battle went for like an hour. So the whole time I was just, you know, on the back foot, because every time something died, you just bring Venusaur back in and I'd be like pretty much screwed again. So he uses Giga Drain, and he didn't really need to do that much predicting because, you know, I was just pretty much walled and I couldn't do any damage to it. So I got a bit of luck there with the Leech Seed, but he got a crit before, so, you know, it wasn't that big a deal. And I got an Ice Beam off, and if I stayed in, I probably could have taken it out eventually, but there wasn't any guarantee of that, and I figured it was probably just better to get the safe switch without a Leech Seed up. And so I brought in Medicham for the Death Fodder, and I brought in Regice again. So I figured a Stab Ice Beam might be, you know, might do a little bit more. And but I decided to go with Rest because this Regice is a Rest Talker. If you guys haven't seen my like early battles, you won't know what's up. But it's an old favorite. The only reason I stopped using it was because Stealth Rock pretty much owned it. But got a bit lucky there with the Ice Beam. It's actually a Rest Talk with Bolt Beam, so it only had like a 33% chance to do anything to Quagsire. But he starts hammering away with his Stab Earthquake, and that kind of hurts. But once again, this is one of my favorite pokes just because like it has so much special defense. But I've plugged all my EVs into defense, so it's like a nice surprise against physical attackers. Because like I think even when I used it back, you know, back when I started playing, like even in Infernape's close combat on a Mixape doesn't one-hit KO, and the Flamethrower does about half without a nasty plot. So it's a pretty decent wall, and I'll probably be using it again soon just because it's just so much fun. And it just absorbs Salamence like every time. Brick Break won't do enough, and Draco Meteors and Dragon Claw won't do much at all. So my whole idea here was just to try and stall out Quagsire and hopefully, you know, get lucky with my Rest Talking. But it didn't quite turn out that way. I got a bit of luck, but you know, in the end, it just sort of evened out. So I had to take it out, you know, with low HP. And in the end, it wasn't going to survive another switch in, so it was going to either be Death Fodder or just let it die now. And he brings in Moltres, which takes like half from Stealth Rock, which is pretty much the only reason why Moltres isn't used and overused, because it's just like it's so good. It resists Earth and it's a Fire type. Like that's just so good. It's just the Stealth Rock that lets it down. And he goes for a Fire Blast again, and even though it's neutral, this has full HP and full special defense, but he gets a crit. He actually did the calcs after the match, and as it turns out, it wasn't going to KO. But it didn't matter too much, because the match was pretty much over. Just Venusaur just completely raped me. But, you know what, like, it wasn't so bad. Like, considering I had, like, 6 random pokes, it was just all I had. Like, it wasn't too bad. So, it was a good match, and I'll definitely try and get some more UU matches up. So, good game, Pokekage, and I'll look forward to the next one.